So this is John Costa at the Doc Media Centre, and again, still day 9, and we're catching up with our third person of the day. After Jason, the photographer with Colombia, we've just been speaking to Rada about industrial symbiosis and circular economies in Mexico and Brazil. And we're catching up with a dear old friend of mine from DMU days in the past, Thilo, in Peru. So good evening here, and of course, actually, you're behind us, which is quite good.
Yes,
everyone's been ahead of me so far.
Yes,
good. Now, big transition for you. It's quite interesting actually, because the charity that you've been working for now for a number of years as the transition director, you've literally transitioned yourself out of that role.
Yes.
Yesterday. So today's a big day for you. Is it officially retirement, or is it kind of?
No, it's not. It's not official retirement. It's transition to who knows what. I think yes. I couldn't bear not working or not doing anything. It's not like feet up. I think for a couple of days. No.
Yeah, Tuesday. At least Tuesday. Yeah.
I know it will start again, and lots of possibilities to do voluntary work. Especially in these times, which are tough for a lot of organizations. You will know that a lot of development organizations and charities who are based abroad, a lot of them stopped working because it's so tough. And we have been very lucky in Amantani that we have continued. We are continuing with strength. And so I can do some voluntary work with some organizations to just share know-how and be there.
Yeah, and I think the last time we spoke last summer, you were saying as well that you'd managed to keep paying some of the local people as well.
Yes, the project, if you recall, is to give. What are they called? Oh God, now I have the Spanish name. Becas, stipendium, scholarships, scholarships to young people, and also to give them the scholarships, to give them internet access. We had a wonderful computer campaign, and all of the young people have got their computers. It's fantastic. 100 young people studying and doing further education. And so we have been able to secure that, but also we do, there is a local group of mothers. They do wristbands like that one.
Yeah, I put a link up to that on Instagram. Yep.
Yeah, we actually they are being sold also in the UK. Quite a nice market there. In Shoe Zone. I don't know if at the moment they still have them because we had these difficulties to send them over, but I think they are again there. So the local women have been able to continue the work, and it's really wonderful because also the organizations who support our work have supported the women, because at one point it was we couldn't export the wristbands. So, but yeah, it was great that it continued.
Yeah. Now I know we've agreed that we're going to avoid the pandemic, because a little bit like yourself, I think we're getting pandemic fatigue. So you just kind of do what you can, and you try not to look at it from the big picture, apart from having conversations with people like, are they okay? So I think you said the distance that Peru is from everywhere else, and the reliance on tourism. It's been speaking to colleagues this week in Kenya as well, where there's a real kind of focus on tourism and places like that. It's going to take a while for us to recover, isn't it? To get back to, donations, even if we're got UK based donations, we're not here. Local VCS groups, voluntary community sector groups, they're struggling with finance because they can't run events, they can't do fundraisers and things like that. So it's a real kind of impact that's affected everybody probably for the first time.
Yeah, John, you know, and it's like what I don't do is I don't follow the numbers anymore because I would just here the health system has collapsed. We had huge issues with the vaccine. We have a big scandal about vaccinations at the moment in Peru, where a lot of people got vaccinated to get the deal with the Chinese vaccination, and who knows what comes out of that. And people have resigned already over that, but it's corruption everywhere. It's me first, and that is coming up quite a lot. So I do think it shows again when there are not good structures in place, where there are not good public services in place, where it has been outsourced to private companies, which are not very ethical. There are all these issues emerging, and or simply we see it more because they have always existed, no? But here, the health system is really suffering. Education system is really suffering. So we are in a mess. You know that I'm very optimistic. I'm always doing, let's get on with it and let's be resilient. But the challenges are huge, are just huge, and in every sphere, I'm normally I'm not very keen in doing sort of what is it, assistential work in a sense of giving out things. But personally, I go now on the street, there are a lot of people begging on the street. That wasn't so strong before. We have the Venezuelan community here, who is left without pay. I know a lot of families where one in a family of 5 different families, or one family, yeah, one member is working and is feeding the rest of the family. So, you know, sometimes now you have to do this kind of, let's help with food, with help with medicine. So it's quite tricky, the situation. And also, obviously, the poverty is increasing, and tourism in Cusco lived of tourism, yeah. And there is we are again in lockdown, so let's see how long it lasts. So at the moment, nothing is going to Cusco, and really difficult for a city or for a region which is living of the tourism. And nobody knows really when it will open. I just think, you know, ask somebody from Britain and says, do you plan in the next time to travel to South America? I think they will say no.
Yeah, yeah, and that's the trouble, isn't it? Sort of, it's not a case of the tourists are allowed to fly. It's whether
Yes,
tourists will fly or be willing to
exactly.
go back, or even if you can afford. I mean, when you think about it now,
Yeah,
how many planes are flying as compared to a year ago? What's the cost of getting on a plane now? What will the cost
exactly.
of a seat be
Yeah.
to Ecuador or Venezuela or
And
Peru, you know?
And I had to travel to Cusco because at the moment I'm in Lima, and that was some time ago. And actually, I didn't like it. I found it rather too much, no? Too many people, people sitting next to you, and yes, you're wearing all the safety measures, but it's still not the easiest. So I can understand somebody saying, "Oh, a flight to South America, 12 hours flight. I'm not sure if I want to be on that airplane." And
Yeah,
and I know that the industry are saying no, it's fine, and probably it is. You know, I don't
yeah,
know, but obviously it's, yeah. I
yeah.
rather keep the distance.
Yeah, it's the perception, I guess, isn't it? People will
Yes,
only go when they've made their mind up. Um,
exactly.
they won't believe what they read in the papers or hear in the
Yeah.
media because there's suspicion. That's cool. So let's go back to. I want to talk about something in the past, and then I want to talk about the future. Okay, so something in the past is obviously when I first met you, when I was doing Citizens Eye back in the heady days of
Yes.
2008 to 2014. You were still at DMU, and you were involved in a project, Amplified Leicester, with Professor Sue Thomas and stuff. And I remember
Yes.
the conversations that you and I had, and with Tina as well, with the young people we were doing stuff with Broadston and New Parks and stuff, was this whole kind of concept of resilience, which at the time was still quite new, wasn't it? I'd say a lot of people probably wouldn't have known what it was, what it was as a concept. Now, sort of 10 years, 12 years later, do you do that in the work that you've just been doing for Amantani for the last 10 or so years?
Resiliency is a key concept in my work, and I use a lot the work of Michael Unger. I will pass you the link. He has done some amazing work. He's from Canada, amazing work around resiliency and young people. And I love his work because it's so, for me, it's so down to earth, so realistic, so appropriate, because he looks at resiliency not only as the personal resiliency. And, you know, sometimes he says, sometimes we are asked to read all these self-help books, and it's like, yeah, you can do, but he says, let's put that example, you know, an elderly woman living on her own, has lost a lot of family members, lives in poverty, has no networks, and is really depressed and disheartened by the whole situation. Just to say you can do it, and it's in your mind, and if you change your outlook, that will make you resilient and you can do it, it's not good enough. Yeah. And he says we have to look at what is around people. He talks about services which are individually tailored and good services. And he says that complex problems need complex answers. And for me, that was always the driving force for my sort of the theoretical aspect of my work, you know, resiliency. And he gives this examples, what is for young people also, what means resiliency, having strong relationships, a sense of belonging, identity, structure, support, somebody to trust, personal resiliency. So all that comes together. And when doing a project, a development project, that yes, it is about education, but all the other elements have to be there. And because also we work towards the Agenda 2030 and the development goals. And obviously we have a kind of an area where we work, but resiliency needs to be part. You can't just detach it. So I love the framework. It's really great.
Yeah, and you mentioned their resiliency in young people, and you know what I do here with the Parallel Life projects across the 100 countries is, it's particularly when we're doing things with young people, it's telling their story, but it's them that's telling it. It's not about the mainstream media saying young people in this area this, or even the local media to an extent when they share some of the articles or news reports that are done about them. I'm thinking about, you know, young people in Nigeria at the moment with some of the protests there about police violence. It's about the content that they've made and getting that seen and shown, and turning around and saying, well, actually, don't make this story about yourself. What story is it you want to tell? And I'm just going to share a screen now, because you mentioned these films that were made by your colleagues. Let me just see if I can get it to play.
Fred Brunson and Tanya Farfan, they are the people on these wonderful
just see if I can get these to come up on the screen. There we go. So let me try this now. There we go. So hopefully you can see that now.
Yes.
Yeah. So obviously we've got this Meet My World. These films were called. There we go. It's getting them to work again. And what I like about these when I watch them, and I'd love to be able to do them as some kind of film festival for you here, because I said, you know, to be able to show them in Leicester, where you worked for such a long time, would be incredible. So I'm just scrolling down to them now. And what I love about this, it's the range of things that they're interested in, you know, sort of, you know, the horseman, you know, bottle boarding. Bottle boarding looks like the most fun thing you could possibly do.
Yes, actually. I did it. It was quite scary, actually. You see the hill and you're sitting on this bottle and you're sliding down, and actually burns a a little
Yeah.
bit, sliding down on the bottle, it gets hot. And it was wonderful. It was, and the wheel, I tried to do it. I failed miserably.
This is what, reinventing the wheel. Yeah.
Yes, yes, yes.
I think this thing, like I said, it was just, I don't know what I was expecting, and it's strange, particularly if someone like me is surprised. I like to think I'm not surprised because I know so many things. I'm so lucky that I get to look at a lot of this content that around the world, particularly that a whole range of documentary media, photography and podcasts and films. But then to actually see, like, how to catch a fish with your bare hands. You know what I mean?
And
How,
the capturing the fish with the bare hands, it's really interesting because obviously Yuri is not the only one. I just watched before. It seems now in the mind, it seems short time ago, but now I think, oh God, this was a year ago, over a year ago. I went out walking with some of the young people, and one of the guys who is just fantastic, and he said, I said, can you also fish with your hand? And he said, oh, of course I can do it. And he said, oh, I will do it. I will do it. I said, no, 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 it's fine. No, 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 I will show that I can do it. And there he went off, and suddenly he came with a fish in the hand. I said, wow, this is impressive.
yeah, yeah. And it's the fact that it's explaining to you, it's explaining to an outsider about them, isn't it? It's their life. How to dye clothes with vegetables, how to be a shepherdess. You know what I mean? How to make drinks, plough the land with bulls. It's kind of very practical stuff, and that's what I liked. It wasn't let's make a film about the project. Let's make a film about what we're doing for our coursework. It's what do you want to make, and I think it's really empowering.
Yeah, it's Meet My World, and I think it's all about a lot about identity. First, I think it's important to say, I have been a youth worker for years in the UK and before in Germany. And sometimes you produce stuff, and films and photos. And I was sometimes quite disappointed because young people would put a lot of effort in it, and the output was not good because there were not this technical know-how that I can't. I'm not good at. I take photos, but filmmaking is another set of skills.
Yeah, not my area either.
So I think first to understand that you need also that, but also there's a whole process to work with the young people, because sometimes and it's for me it's so important that the voices of young people are being heard, but you need to know that you have a voice, and you need to know, what do I want to talk about when I'm not accustomed to value the everyday. Yeah, so there's a whole process of saying value your everyday, because when I always and it has to do with racism, discrimination, when I'm always being told that I'm nothing, I'm poor, I'm the outside, and I want to become somebody else, what do I have to show? Yeah. So there's a whole process in saying, be proud of what you have, be proud of your community, of your traditions. So there's a huge array of work before making these films, and that can take a long time. Yeah. So I think also that is important to highlight. It is not something where I said, oh, come on, make a film. And then one of the biggest problems the young people we work with is the fear of being laughed at, the fear of being discriminated, the fear of speaking out. So you have to work on that side also. You can speak in front of the camera, and we all know from the front of the camera is even more difficult. So there is a whole kind of process behind that, which I'm sure that everybody you have interviewed before, they will tell you, that young people talk about their experience, so that they come to that moment and can talk about and feel that they're proud to talk about their experience. There is a process behind that.
Yeah. Now, so yesterday you actually left your job as the transitions project director at the charity, and you handed the role over. So you've made yourself redundant. You've handed the role over to some young people. as well, with some advisors and some young women
Yeah.
and stuff like that. Now, listen, mate, I'm incredibly proud of you for doing that, because I know that in the middle of a pandemic to walk away from your job is, I'm sure many people have told you, is a little bit crazy. Yeah. But at the same time, it made perfect sense to me in all the conversations we've ever had that it fits completely with your personality, which is, it's now time for these young people to take it to the next level themselves with that level of ownership and belief. So describe to me the two young ladies that you've handed over to, and then maybe some of the four young people that are going to be supporting them.
First, I think you have to be, in our job, you have to be coherent. If you're not coherent, it's not good enough. Yeah. So if you development work means that at some point you are not needed anymore because you have built capacity. It's all about capacity building. So somebody coming from outside and not leaving at some point, I would find it I find it suspicious. Yeah. However, obviously there are other cases. You know, somebody could come from outside and can say, "Oh, I want to continue to live here, and I found my partner." And there are a lot of circumstances which can mean that you are staying. But that, let's just say that development is about capacity building. And for me, that is the point I felt. And then the other point was, I had to be in Lima, and the project is in Cusco. I couldn't go to Cusco and fly to Cusco, and the team in Cusco did an amazing job. And actually, the two women, they are part of the team. It's not young people, so there are psychologists, and Tanya.
Sorry, yeah, I meant the two people that had taken over, and then there was four young people. Yeah,
exactly. And so there is one of them is a psychologist, and Tanya has worked for lots. She has been in Amantani before I was there, and she is kind of the co-lead in the films. Yeah, so she's just somebody who has incredible skills. So Shirley is a psychologist, and she has wonderful skills. And I thought, come on, you know, they're doing a really good job. I know that I have skills which are still needed, and I said I will kind of help you and support you, and I'm always there, obviously. But it's time that you fly, that you put your stamp onto the project. And actually, it was really nice yesterday. I said, "Don't make me any goodbye. We can do that at the end of the year." And they did it, and it was really a wonderful moment where
it's a lovely photo on Instagram.
Yeah, they just said that they have learned so much, and even that I have changed their perspective on working with young people. And I said to them, "But hey guys, you know, you have changed me quite a lot, and I have learned so much, and I'm a big believer in that, really." So I'm really proud. I'm really proud that they can do that. And um, I get emotional with that. But for me, the best thing, really, the topping, is that young people will be employed by the organization to be peer mentors. And for me, is that young people who are still you know, learning, and who are still in their formation at the institutes, that they will take leads. And also the other young people have been involved in the interviewing process, and I am just the questions they have been asking, the answers I have been getting. So I will announce on Monday who they are. There are 4 young people. We are still interviewing. But that makes me very proud of what I have achieved, but also what the whole team has achieved. And so it's good to leave. You know, it's like, and sometimes leaving makes that things just flourish, you know, explode. You know, and I think that's so important. It's like you're removing yourself, and then it just explode. Obviously, you have to do it in the right moment. It's not just a crazy idea. I have been working hard to get to this moment. It's not, oh, tomorrow I leave. You have to work for that.
maybe that's the Meet My World little film I'd like to see, where you were sitting there having a conversation with yourself about shouldn't I. It'd be quite good.
Yes.
So let's
Yeah,
just finish off. Let's just finish off, and I'll let you get on with your Friday afternoon. And I thank you. And I'm sorry that you kind of got emotional there, but that kind of sums
No,
it
it's fine. In South America, it's fine to get emotional. I think in Britain, it's a bit more,
a bit more reserved. You know what I mean? So yeah,
a bit more reserved.
So you said about an opportunity now maybe to go off and try something different, a little bit of volunteering and stuff like that. And again, you've always been a great advocate ever since I've known you of the role of volunteering for people. If there's no work or for whatever reason, even if you're working, you should still volunteer in order to increase your network, your confidence and your development. And I guess that's probably even going to be even more important now, sort of as we come out of the pandemic, where people are looking for new opportunities. Maybe some things that have always been there, they've always traditionally done, have gone. The role of volunteering, I think, is going to be even more important. Are you going to volunteer as in get stuck in right at the bottom, or are you going to try and volunteer similar to what you've just done with Amity in order to help people to move forward, like build capacity with other organizations?
I'm at the moment, I'm part of a network, an international network of social workers who do, or Latin American network of, they do social work with groups. And it's wonderful. It's a wonderful group, and let's see what happens there, because I think the working with groups and not for groups is something I really want to promote. And I already have given some talks to some students from the practice, and that's a great thing with these platforms that we can do that. But who know, John, I have no idea. I have lots of ideas of what I could do, but it will emerge. And I think you have to be true to yourself, and you have to listen to your heart. And you have to be also prepared that it will be tough, because I know every time I have made a change, there is a time where it's quite tough, and then it starts again. So, but yes, I think volunteering is important, because I have been very fortunate with all what I have got in my life. And as I say, resiliency needs people outside to be there for you. So I know that people have been there for me also. So I need to be there for other people. So I'm a big believer that you are part of this kind of connectedness. And also that's part of the solidarity we need to live now. It's just so important that we live every day the solidarity in little things and in other things we can do.
Lovely. Well, you are the living embodiment of that, my friend, a living embodiment of it, not only of what you've just done yesterday, but also the fact that, that you've spoken to me again. You've always been a great supporter of what I did with Citizens Eye and stuff. So it's great to be able to help you and support you in whichever way from all these thousands of miles away. You've always got a critical friend.
And you have supported us, it's just amazing, it's like, and I think these connections and connectivity, I think, and connections and networks is so important. And I love that. And that's part of resiliency.
Cool. Listen, have a wonderful day. Congratulations on the next step. Look forward to seeing what you do. Enjoy the weekend. And I should imagine it's quite deciding which young people to pick as well for the 4.
Yeah, it is really tough. It is really tough.
It's a life-changing opportunity for them, isn't it?
Yeah, exactly.
Okay, it's cool. Have a lovely weekend.
Bye-bye. Thank you very much.